What, what's up, everybody? How you doing? It's your man J Kev here. One more agains with my partner Leif Taylor. Just gonna have our regular conversation as we always do around the pillars of health, wealth, relationships, and happiness, or health, wealth, relationships, and purpose, which uh, benefits you and you being happy. And all everything in between, whatever comes into view of our conversation, we will touch on it, just because that's life. Life is connected, and there's all kinds of ways you can go in life. So we touch on it, starting from those four pillars. Just wanted to come on after having a pretty nice getaway, a nice adventure, just doing one of the things that we talked about, like in the earlier shows, time past, talk about making that time for adventure in your life as best as you can, in whatever way that you can. Wherever you find yourself, do your best to create those pockets of adventure, just because you have a life, and it's good to live it carefree every once in a while. We being an adult, we all have to adult. We all have to meet our obligations, take care of those responsibilities. That's what adulting means, right? But at the same time, try to find those pockets, those spaces of opportunity where you can create a space of play and adventure, and just relax and kind of take in the beauty of life and just enjoy it for whatever it is, and what in whatever way that you can, with respect to all the hurdles and things that life throws at us, Leif. And in saying that, just coming back from a nice time getaway, time off, just feeling a little revived and feeling a little better, having having some time to get some rest and release, I guess you could say, and just thinking about how beautiful life is, and how important it is to cultivate and maintain that perspective of how precious and how beautiful life is. And as I'm speaking, like, I'm thinking about some of the passings that we've
Yeah.
had in our broader circle, as far as community,
Yep.
family, friends, and peers and associates. Just thinking about that, how beautiful and precious and how fleeting life is, and how it can be, and how important it is to, like I said, take the time to cultivate those spaces of happiness whenever you can, whenever you find it possible. I know that's not always the case at every moment in your life, but enjoy it when and while you can. And thinking about that, Leif, I was going to ask you um, about the four C's. The four C's: connecting, contributing, and
What's
coping
up,
and cooking. Hey,
Danielle?
what's up, Danielle? How you doing? Oh, Danielle's on the vacay now. I wish I was with her.
So y'all got alternating weeks, I see.
Alternating weeks, yeah. So I'm sure she'll be posting some of that fun on the social webs. Let us see what's going on over there. Let us live vicariously through her for a while. If you can't do it directly, the great thing about the internet, about the social internet, is that social media, is that you can live vicariously through other people. Like,
Oh
okay, I
yeah.
see how y'all doing it. I see how y'all doing it over there. um, and that comes along with cultivating a positive outlook, versus looking at somebody's media and saying, "Look at them, why are they
Yeah,
having so much fun?"
exactly. It's like enjoy it. Like while
Yeah.
you're there, go over there. Like let me see you eat that food I can't eat right now, right?
Maybe one day I'll get there. Inspire and push me to aspire to do what you're doing. So yeah, like, I was going to ask you and just talk about the four C's, and maybe touch on connecting, contributing, coping, and cooking. And what are some things that you're implementing? And those, whoever's listening, what are some
Yeah.
things that you're doing as far as those pillars: contributing, connecting, coping, and cooking? What are, these are the four pillars of happiness, sustainable happiness, according this is all coming from the book, The Hacking of the American Mind by Dr. David Lustig, who got this framework as far as sustainable happiness from. We always, you know me, I'm always pulling out a framework or something from somewhere. And that's one of my tried and true go-tos that I've kind of just memorized. That's easy to fall back on, as far as something that's simple and an easy way of framing happiness. It's real short and simple. So just thinking about connecting, for me, when it comes to connecting, prayer and meditation on connecting. Yeah, prayer and meditation. Well, let's start with that, Danielle. Prayer and meditating. For me, making I use my social, my social media for a way of documenting to myself on meditating and praying and making sure I'm thinking and saying and putting into myself some goodness. And Leif, I got to tell you, for whatever reason, I've been bitten by the TikTok bug. I don't know why or how this happened.
Yeah, I think I literally just found my login this week to TikTok. Because
Really?
I had it, I was posting drawing tutorials on there, and then they disconnected it from Instagram, so I didn't even know what my password was, but I figured it out. So I've been on TikTok again this week as well.
We must be on the same wavelength, because this week, or actually last week, I just started on a daily basis, just saying to myself, let me document to myself, posting to myself something that is inspirational, one, entertaining, or educational, or something that's inspiring to push me every day. And I got that. I don't know why. I just got bit by the TikTok bug all of a sudden. I tried to fight it, but that's where I'm at right now.
Thanks, Daniel. I'll follow you back. Now, take that.
Can I get a follow those? That's all I'm saying.
Nah, you good, bro.
I'm just saying. Can I get a follow? And I will follow you back. I will have some reciprocity there. But yeah, just document to myself.
Agreed.
Using that as a way of just kind of putting goodness into myself. And I got that from. I've been listening to a lot of Dr. Caroline Leaf.
Okay.
And she's got a bunch of books out, and she's just popped back into my view as far as
don't do it, Danielle. Don't
do it. Do it.
Caroline Leaf. Okay, I need to look her up.
Dr. Caroline Leaf. And she got a website, and she talks about, she's a neuro something. Don't let me get her wrong, but she's like
she's a neuroscientist with a master's and a PhD in communications pathology and a BSc in I don't even know how to pronounce that word, logopedics, specializing in cognitive and metacognitive neuropsychology.
Yes. And she's very interesting in that she approaches her work from a Christian perspective. So you have somebody who's deep into science, but they also have a very Christian perspective. And she talks about the difference between your mind and your brain, and how your mind supersedes your brain, and the way you think. It goes back to the old adage of mind over matter, right?
Yep.
And how the thoughts that we think actually has physical representation in our brain, and then it outplays throughout our bodies and everything else. So, she just talks about something as simple as spending like a few minutes every day, just being intentional about your thoughts, and how that plants the seeds where if you keep working on it on a regular basis, you can grow, actually grow real good thoughts that she said on a scan looks like trees. Looks like beautiful, healthy trees, which makes me think about the one verse where God heals the blind man halfway at first, and he's like, I see men as trees, and then he does it fully. And then, our actions is supposed to be as fruit, from trees. So it just got me thinking about that. and how important it is to really cultivate your thoughts and your emotions, and how it's really empowering, and it's something that's simple that anybody can do, where you can just take a few moments out of your day and place something into your heart, place something into your mind, and actually place something into your body physically too that's good for you, that will help you live a sustainably good, healthy, and positive life.
Yeah, who was the? You posted a link earlier this week, or it was either last week,
Dr.
about the
Andrea
lady.
Pennington.
Yeah, because I saw that and I was like, you know what, I'm gonna start implementing that. And basically, what the post was is exactly what Kevin is saying. Is saying instead of focusing on the bad things and negative things in life, focus on the positive things, and it'll change your physical makeup. It'll change your health outcomes. And so, yeah, I sent that to my wife as well.
Oh, really? Yeah.
Yep.
Well, she was on Dr. Hyman's show. I don't know if you know. Dr. Hyman's pretty
Mhm.
is a pretty famous doctor in the health and wellness world. In that he works. He has a practice in, I want to say, Cleveland Clinic. He has a practice there where he does a lot of work and
Okay.
stuff there too. But even though he can operate in both worlds as far as conventional health and the conventional medical world, but also he operates in the functional and integrative health world too. So he's very knowledgeable and in depth in both worlds, and he knows how to marry the two, which is at first was kind of hard to find, but it's becoming easier to find now as far as the internet and information and things. It's made more accessible to people, because everybody doesn't want to cross fully over for whatever reason to this just straight. Uh, I'm thinking of Coming to America, fruits and berries in my hair. Nobody. Everybody don't want to cross all the way over to that, shea butter and frankincense, you know, patchouli lane. So you gotta be able to marry the two if that's what you want to do. But anyway, yeah, Andrea Pennington. That's really I think the post that really kicked it off for me is like, okay, there's something scientifically to,
Yeah.
cultivating positive emotions. And Dr. Caroline Leaf, she really takes that another step too, as far as going in depth more about it. Just she even talks about the power of prayer and worship, and how um, there's been studies on people who do prayer and worship, and how um, there's something to be said about a community of worshipers, and how they link up and sync up on every level, even going down, even all the way down to um, the heart rhythm, where when
Yeah.
you have a group of people that's in one place connecting, that they synchronize even all the way down to their heart patterns and stuff, which is I just thought was very interesting. And just so, yeah, just thinking about that life, man, how important it is to really be aware of what you're thinking, what you're putting into your mind. And me and you, we are very hyper aware of to a lot of the dangers and troubles and stuff that's going on out there. So it's very important that even more so that you
Yeah.
do whatever it takes to really keep your bubble, keep your world, your circle positive and healthy, and focused and trained on the goodness of life, so that you can be resilient when those tough times do approach you.
Yeah, and also this makes me think of some conversations I had this week with various people, and it was kind of along those same lines. Is about just being careful the way you think about things.
Yeah,
Sometimes if you're not aware of your own emotions, you can make great outcomes seem negative. And so I had a conversation with a friend, and it was like, I was like, you need to, for lack of a better, term, just change the way you're thinking, because the things that you're going after, once you get them, don't be so, I guess, I'm trying to think of a way to put it. so negative to where you can't see the good in the very thing you were trying to get. And
Man,
when
that's
it
funny.
comes, you're not happy.
I thought that
Yeah.
exact same thing, like literally like an hour earlier before we got on. Just
What was that?
just thinking about uh, sometimes you don't realize your prayers get answered. You know, you have
Right.
like it just took me a moment of like, well, your prayers got answered. You got what you're getting. Some of the things that you want. So it made me think about be careful what you pray for, and then when you do
Yeah.
get what you want, be appreciative of it, and take the
Yep.
time to say, oh, thank you, I appreciate it. Don't
Yeah.
don't be talking
Yeah. Because
about
sometimes
negative.
you get so. Yeah, and you have to be very careful of it. That's why, and again, I give my friend credit just for reaching out to get a different perspective.
Yeah,
Because they're like, am I wrong thinking this way? Right, and that goes into the 4 C's, talking about community. We talk about this quite a bit, is making sure that you have a community of people or somebody within your given community that you can talk to make sure that you're on the right path in the way you're thinking. I was watching uh let's see, I actually got it here. I was looking at it earlier. Getting Rich Through Relationships is from the guy David Never Sleeps. He had a thing with Spectacular. He's a
mm-hmm.
young dude that does like internet marketing and things like that. He used to be in Pretty Ricky. Anyway, they were talking about mentorship and and being able to reach out to mentors to get feedback on the directions you're taking, get
Yep,
advice, and from the community standpoint, we need to reach out to one another. It's not always about a mentor mentee relationship, but it's like peer mentoring. You can get mentored by your colleagues. I get advice from my wife and vice versa. Again, because you want to make sure that you're thinking correctly in your approach to life. You want to make sure that you're looking on the bright side of things, because sometimes like even a blessing can seem like a curse if you're thinking wrong, right?
yeah.
Like Daniel said, mind framing. If you have the wrong frame of mind, then nothing is good.
You can be getting like straight gold. It's like this
Yeah,
is
it don't even matter.
yeah.
Exactly.
Well,
Mine's
I
a
don't want this
24
gold.
karat. Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. It's like 24 karat gold's too soft. I don't like it. Just the wrong kind of thing, right?
And
And
I
so
know
you
we've
just
been
want to make.
comical, but I've run into over the course of my life people, individuals like that. You
Oh,
know,
always. There's always people like that. I knew people in my family. It was just like it's like, man, you just want to ruin happy moments. Like, you cannot live in peace for nothing. You know. And so it's almost like Captain America, right? When you're a soldier, you're always looking for a war,
yeah,
and so
yeah.
you got to make sure that you're only a soldier during war times and not during the off season, right? And so you got to be very careful with that.
Man, yeah, just appreciating the good things while you have them, and again, cultivating that mindset, cultivating that framework, and that can take some work.
Oh,
Um,
constant work.
yeah, it takes work, and sometimes life has a way of hitting you in the head a couple of times until you get it. And believe me, I'm speaking from experience and not not from on high. I'm speaking from having to go through that process of uh, changing my perspective and having some things
Yep.
rewired as far as my perspective on life and how things should be and how they're supposed to be, and having some things changed where hey, appreciate what you have. Life is not, things aren't going to be perfect as far as things aren't going to match your definition of perfection.
Yep.
So just be happy with good enough and work on it because everything's always going to be a work in progress. So
Yeah.
just taking things for what they are. Talking about the 4 C's: connecting, contributing, and coping and cooking. So we talked about connecting or community. Contributing is another one where just finding ways of being of service
Yep.
to someone or to something, some cause or something. It doesn't have to be big, but it can be a small thing. Even if you get paid for it, um, if you're getting paid for it, find somewhere where you can be of service to where you're doing something that you like to do, or
Yep.
or whatever. Where you feel like you. I mean, I've had jobs where the pay was good, but the community, the atmosphere, at the culture at the job was even more of a benefit to me, to where it felt like uh, I was contributing and I was being appreciated for what I was doing while I was there. And then
Yeah. Yeah.
like many others, you may have experienced showing up at a place where you like, man, they don't appreciate nothing I'm doing.
Yeah.
I don't care how much
Yeah.
I'm getting
It's like the
paid.
pay didn't matter. Yeah, the pay
It
didn't
don't
matter
even
then.
it don't even matter. You just complain. It's like, man, I gotta get out of here. This ain't what I want to spend, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 hours doing. And it's just not paying off. But if you find a cause that you contribute to, where you don't mind or you like spending that time there, then that's something that's well worth your while to pursue and find when it comes to sustainable happiness. Hey, that's my office. The pay ain't great, but the community is dope, and that goes a long way. The
Yeah.
community,
Really.
the community at your place of work. Um, when it's right, then you can weather a lot of storms and weather a lot of things in
Yeah,
life.
because ultimately you'll get to where the pay and the community match. Yeah,
Yeah,
it's just
yeah,
the truth of it.
yeah. And oftentimes it could be either one or the other, like you said, that propels the other
Yeah.
side. If you got a dope community that can keep everybody around long enough, and that can propel
Yeah,
you
because you can accomplish
along.
great things. Yeah, and that's huge. Yeah, because I had a conversation with someone talking about that very thing is finding. We talk about tribe finding quite a bit on our show, and that was one of the things that I was discussing with. It was a guy from South Africa. We had a pretty good conversation, and it was just about finding like-minded people, finding the tribe of synergistic people in a sense to accomplish big things. And so that's that. Yeah, if you got an office atmosphere like that, Danielle, then definitely do your best to keep cultivating it, which I know you
Yes.
will.
Yep.
And yeah, sky's the limit because when you can push, because those kinds of things help you push beyond yourself, right? When you got other people that are relying on you, oh yeah, yeah, we
I'm
know you're
trying to
part
change
of the
this.
tribe.
Yeah, we know you.
But yeah, it's just like pushing. You can push through adversity when you have people that love you around you. That's why family is so huge, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Cultivating a family culture because you're going to go through hardships as a family
Yeah.
because you're human. You live long enough, something bad's gonna happen, right? And bad is relative, but just the hardships of life and just the difficulties of life. I'll put it that way. Having the right community, the right foundation can help you overcome a huge amount of obstacles, a huge amount of adversity, and so definitely that's real big in terms of developing that type of close knit community, people that you can rock with, people that when you give, you feel that it's being reciprocated,
Yeah.
in whether it's gratefulness or in pay or whatever, right? But the contribution is more beneficial to you as a
Yep.
giver than oftentimes than it is as a receiver.
Well, that's one of the big mysteries, or that's one of the big secrets that you find out about giving, right? Is like you
Yeah,
benefit just as much or even more when you cultivate the habit of giving
yeah,
versus
it's
being the
true.
receiver.
Yep.
Miss Shauna says the older you become, the quicker you know who is or is not part of your tribe. Man, she really hit that on the head, and that kind of points back to a conversation I was having earlier today with somebody. We were talking, and she was saying that uh, the older she's getting, the more she realizes her tolerance level for uh, certain things and people and
Yeah,
places and stuff. It's like she said when I was younger, I was open, I was socializing, The older I get, I was like, you know what? Ain't nobody got time for that. You know, you know what you want, you know what you like, and you cultivate that as much as you can. And
Yeah.
yeah, like you say, you grow your tribe.
And that it just reminded me of another conversation because throughout the week I try to talk to as many people as possible, a variety of people, a variety of backgrounds. And one of the conversations that I had makes me think about what we're talking about right now. Is sometimes you don't know who really is a part of that tribe until adversity hits you.
Yeah, yeah.
And I was talking with an individual, and they were like, all their friends literally abandoned them, right? Just left. And I was just like, wow, just definitely sorry to hear, because sometimes people will slowly fade in the background when fire comes your way. And so that individual is now recovering from those instances. But he was just like, I never would have thought that these people would have just left me, high and dry. And it's like, bro, it just happens. Sometimes you don't know until you know.
So how did that affect this individual? Did it make them sad
Oh,
or
oh
frustrated? Or
yeah. No, I'm talking about like extreme abandonment. I'm not talking about just the casual walk away. It's like, yeah, when people tarnish your name and your reputation, kind of stuff, right?
oh, okay,
Yeah.
okay.
And so it affected them, personally, financially, the whole nine. And so it's, sometimes you don't know who those people are until, but you can if you really focus on, like, the core of your being, right? We always talk about reflect on the things you desire in this life, the
Yep.
people you need to be around, and having the right community, you'll be able to weather all of those storms. Because a lot of the times, one, if you got somebody that can check you when you're wrong, then that'll help you avoid a lot of calamity anyway. And
Yeah.
also, other people that you can check, and just having truthful and open
Open.
relationships in
Yeah.
terms of communication, right? And being able to ask, am I on the right track? Just like we were talking about earlier. Like, my wife is my sounding board for a lot of things. And I'm like, hey, if you see me doing these things, check me, let me know. And so just having that accountability is huge. And again, it's just being selective in terms of your close knit friends, right? Not, there's loose communications, there's loose networks. We're talking about close knit
Or
communities.
yeah.
Yeah, you want to make sure that those are solid, that you're really taking the time necessary to cultivate those the way they need to be cultivated. Because sometimes you abandon people and you don't realize you're abandoning them,
Yeah.
right? And
Yep.
so that's why you have to cultivate it. Just like we talked about gardening and last time we were on, after the show, and it's like if you don't constantly till the ground, then all
Comes
kinds
some
of things can
weeds.
come
Yeah.
in. Yeah,
Bugs,
and so
pests.
you want to make sure that you're cultivating. As it's another seed that's not part of the four C's, but you want to make
We
sure
used
that
to
you're
say it all the time.
cultivating. Yeah, you got to cultivate.
But I noticed that word is I'm kind of done with that word because it's kind of gone. I guess I overused it or it's kind of gone mainstream. I know I,
Yeah, yeah.
I'm an over communicator, so my Kev intervene if go over the top.
Good,
Y'all hold me
good. We
accountable.
will. Yeah, she's married to a Kevin as well.
Gotcha.
So yeah,
Yeah,
not you, Kev, not you, bro.
no, no, no. We're pretty. All Kevs are pretty good relationship, marital material. Okay. Despite of what y'all believe out there. No, I'm just playing.
Like, Kevin's is where it's at.
Kevin is lit. Yeah, just talking about, man. It's real easy, going back to talking about tribes. It's so easy in the world that we live in to really do what we're talking about. Maybe a few decades ago, maybe not so much.
Yeah,
Talking to my dad's generation, talking to my dad, like, what are you talking about, son? What are you talking about? Tribe. Who got time for a tribe? You go to work.
yeah.
You get stuff done, son. You ain't got
I
time
can
for no
hear him say
tribe.
it now.
These boys, there's something wrong with him, man. He's something wrong with him. These are all imaginary conversations I picture my dad having when I'm out now. Connect, contribute. Okay, talk about coping. What are some things that you're doing as far as coping? For me, like I said, we talked about making sure we create space for play and create space for adventure, but also he be practicing. But also, having those, making sure that getting plenty of rest, good sleep, um, exercising. It don't have to be anything great as far as exercise and stuff. I mean, I've now resorted to carrying around a resistance band and just what's that? A massage ball? Yeah,
hand grip. That's why I was doing as we're talking.
yeah. I resorted to little stuff like that just so that I'm constantly just doing like little stuff versus holding out to one big workout session or something like that. So I'm just constantly throughout the day or over time, I'm doing little stuff here and there, and I noticed that kind of really helps out the older I get as far as mobility, and also going back to coping. A form of coping is that I've noticed that it's a good way to release tension that can get trapped in your body and stuff. One of the things I noticed and I learned when I was doing the boot camp and stuff is I noticed after like a good stretching session, you could tell those who have really like switched over to a calm, relaxed, present state versus those who are still in that anxiety, superficial breathing, fear state. And one of the things I would notice is that, like, after a stretching session or whatever, you would see people go, and they just like settle. They're good. Yeah.
It's just like even what Danielle's talking about with you being still, like when you're still, you breathe better.
Yeah.
Right? Because it's just that you relax, like you said, not as much tension, not as much anxiety. You just relax and chill, let your mind rest. And as you mentioned, stretching is definitely a good way to do that because it makes you focus on the task at hand. He said breathing practices are great.
Yeah, breathing practices have grown in popularity over the last couple of years, and there's good reason for it, given that the world that we live in is a fear-induced panic state, rushed, busy, pedal to the metal type of culture that we've cultivated over the last couple of decades or whatever. And so our breathing patterns are off. And when that's off, that throws everything else off. So with good reason, I think that's come into the forefront of view as far as what people are thinking about today. Ms. Johnson says, create space for relationships. Talking to friends who know you in realness helps. There's an African saying which says everybody needs somebody they can be themselves with. Yeah, that is so true. You do need somebody where you can just relax, put your feet up, and just be yourself with. Life's too short to always be on guard about who you are. Of course, like you were talking about, you're going to have different levels of friendships with people where they're going to see different aspects of your personality. But you do want people in your life where you can just be you. You don't have to always be guarded about how you are or what you're doing. You just want to be able to just relax and just be free. So that's really important.
It's funny. I had sent my wife a video. I guess it was yesterday or the day before. It was Derek Grayson, and the guy was interviewing him, and it was the title of the show was how he made money being unapologetically himself, right? And just there's a freedom in being who you are without wearing the mask, right? And so I personally try to do that, period. I
Yeah.
try not to put on a mask, but sometimes you don't even know when you are, right? Which is what you guys say?
Well, I was gonna say, well, that's natural, and that's a part of the human condition as far as being around in a group of people, and
Right.
that's part of
But
who we are.
yeah, but sometimes I think that comes with age in terms of because you have fatigue in terms of trying to be something that you're not, or just putting on an air. It's like that one person that was nice for the first 30 years of their life, and then they found out they're just me.
Like, what happened? Just the switch
Yeah,
flip.
like they was always mean. They just got tired of the act, and so just definitely, and definitely doing the 4 C's what we talk about on a regular basis will help you cultivate and become who you are anyway, right? It'll
Yeah,
help
yeah,
you become that better self, and it helps erase the facade. I'm big in facades, especially being a designer. I always think about truth in advertising in terms of marketing and designing things. Like I do game illustration sometimes for a company, and I'm always thinking I don't want to make the graphics better than the game. Just
yeah. I fell victim to that. Yeah, a
yeah,
lot of
you know what
times.
I'm saying.
Like,
And
explain
so
that.
I think about that the same way I think about in terms of your personality. You want to make sure that you're consistent, not only for other people but for yourself, right? To where you know how you're going to be on a regular basis, to where it helps you get past fearing that you'll mess something up, right? And
Yep.
it took me a while, years ago, to get to that point to where I didn't fear self sabotage. It's just like, man, every time I get here, something's gonna happen, which goes back to the mind framing that we talked about and those kinds of things. But you want to make sure that again, you know who you are, and that you've cultivated yourself to be the person you want to be, right? That you've eliminated those things that are hindering you, whether it be laziness, whether it be apathy, whether it be whatever things that plague your body or plague your mind. You want to make sure that you do the best that you can to eliminate that. That could either be through therapy, through communication, through exercise, relaxation, all the little coping is what we're talking about right now. You
Yeah.
want to make sure that you introduce those things into your life so that you can become, quote unquote, your greater self. So
Your better self.
I
Yeah.
am that.
Talk about cooking. What are some? What's one thing that you're doing in the cooking area as far as sustainable happiness? For me, um, you know, I work on a farm part time, and I'm surrounded by so much good food. It's crazy. So that's something that helps me when it comes to cooking and sustainable happiness. Is
Yeah,
one
definitely
of the
eating.
things we have to talk about is going straight to the source and getting as best quality as you can in a world where just about everything is processed and everything is um, designed. Designer food is what we're eating now. Designer food product. They don't even call it food anymore. It's food product. So so just getting what your body demands as far as what we were designed to eat and stuff. Is getting it as much as that as you can is something that's definitely important when it comes to sustainable happiness. What did Sean
Yeah,
say?
yeah. She said, I'll put it back up real quick. I'm blessed to have several friends, including my husband, that I'm free to be myself with. I'm super weird, and they accept me in my fullness. You pay a price being around people that don't accept you, for sure.
Or they pay a price
Yeah,
of not
everybody
benefiting
does
you or
actually.
breaking
Yeah,
you
for
down.
sure.
Yeah,
She said fast food
correct.
product.
Food product.
Oh, facts. I said fast food. See, me my
Same difference.
dyslexia.
Fast food product. Fast food products.
Yeah,
One of our
that's
kids
actually. Go ahead. Go ahead.
One of our kids getting extreme joy out of cooking. She cooks completely from scratch. Her Chipotle chicken rivals Chipotle itself. Uh-oh, those are big words. I might have to come over and do a taste test.
Nah, you good. You good.
No, No, I think Miss Shauna wants me to come over
I
and do
will
a
not
taste
be
test.
contributing to Kevin's eating. But yeah, actually, that was one of the things I was gonna say is like, I have a wife and a daughter that love to cook, especially my daughter. Like she loves, like she watches food shows 24/7 in a sense. And no, I'm not even gonna post that. My wife posted something. I'm not even gonna post it so you can look at it.
I
But
see. Don't worry.
but
The first
but
thing
but,
I
but
need to know
again,
when it get to me.
but she likes to experiment with stuff, and she'll even make vegan recipes specifically so I can eat as well. So I don't cook myself often, or even I rarely cook now. I used to cook a lot,
Yeah,
but I have a family that you know
that does it.
yeah, and plus one of the things that is not a cooking, but in terms of like all my whole family, we love eating fresh fruit, right? And so that's something that we've been making sure that we maintain on a regular basis to where we have easy access to the food, and setting it up in a way that you can go get it and making it convenient. And also that's another way for anybody to eat healthier is just make those foods more convenient. It is really that simple.
Intentional eating. That's something that's very important in today's world. Hold on, let me get to what Dan said. Ellington is
Yeah.
our Bobby
Bobby
Flay
Flay.
in our house. He's 11 and cites his recipes. Okay, okay. You got some young cooks over, young chefs. Look like I got a lot of taste testing
Yeah,
to
I
do. Got
know.
to make my rounds. If he tells you what she puts in her pancake, you would be shocked. Black beans. She probably put black beans in there.
No, no.
Avocado.
Not a guessing game. It's not a guessing show, Kev. It's not a guessing show.
But yeah,
But
you talked about making food, good food, convenient, and that's something that I constantly. It's just me. It's something I constantly think about. Um, Ever since, like really, like becoming more aware of food and how important it is. Just in
yes.
that, if you don't have access to good quality food, you're gonna have it's hard to live a good life when you're not feeling well, when
Yep.
you're not energetic, when you just constantly just having to deal with disease and illness and issues and dysfunction. I know. So whenever I crossed
No
over
question.
and
Yeah.
encountered that hurdle, it really seared in my brain, my consciousness about how vital and important it is to have access to good quality of food. And just looking at where we are as far as 2021, looking at some things, it's becoming even of more importance to make sure that we all secure and have access to some good quality food. I was just thinking, we talked about Dr. Hyman earlier, and on his show he had a series with some with a bunch of with some different African American farmers and food what do you call them, food activists,
Okay. Yeah.
just talking about what a lot of cities and stuff and people are going through as far as having good access to good food and how important it is. He was just talking about it from a race perspective.
Yeah, I'm on the local Lexington Mayor's Council. I'm like a citizen observer, and that was one of the things that we addressed 2 weeks ago. Was that very thing is
Really?
making food accessible in the inner city, because it's a huge issue and it's a huge problem. And if you don't go through that, you won't even know,
You don't
right?
know. Yeah.
You don't even know that you're not getting quality food if you don't become aware of it, or if somebody hasn't pointed it out to you, which is another reason why we talk about community a lot. Because sometimes if you grow up eating a certain way, that's just the way things are, and you don't think that you're doing anything wrong. You don't think those things are affecting your health. You don't even it doesn't even pass through your mind that these things could be against you, so to speak.
Yeah, we were in me and my middle son, we were in the cooler at the farm, and I pointed to some broccoli and carrots. It was in a basket.
Yeah.
He said, "You like it?" He's like, "Yeah, yeah." He said, "But I don't like that kind. I like the kind in the store." And I just started laughing. I was like, this is where they get it from.
That's funny.
I say, nah, you like that? He's like, nah, I like the kind in the store. I say, the store gets it from here. Well, just to illustrate your point of if you're not exposed and if you don't know, you don't know. Just going back a few generations, African Americans were farmers. We did a lot of producing of the food stuff. So to see where we are now.
Weird. Yeah, and it's weird sometimes. I remember speaking specifically to somebody. We were talking about getting farmland, right, and cultivating a farm. And the person said, "She said I grew up on the farm, and I don't want to have anything to do with it."
Yeah.
Wow.
I've ran into that a lot too. What did Daniel say?
She said, "Have we watched the show High on the Hog on Netflix? It talks about the history of food. I've not seen it yet, Danielle, but it's on my to watch list. Me and the wife have actually talked about it, watching it because I've seen a lot of people comment on it.
Okay.
And then my wife said, she'll spend money on good food. She's cheap when purchasing other things, but not food.
Yeah.
So peep this. So my wife already started watching it. You see how it works?
Man,
see how that works?
That's cold-hearted.
So Danielle, somebody in my household has watched that show. It just wasn't me.
That's a conversation. Like, so you're gonna start a show without me? Oh, man.
See, now I got to go back to the sea of coping, right? How do I cope with this?
We know how you cope, Leif, man. You cope like I do. Just cry.
He's in the sea of crying.
Yeah, that's the other sea. Cry. Yeah, talking about cooking, and in the book, Dr. David Lustig, he talks about how you don't necessarily have to be the person that cooks, but you can be the person that benefits from the result of having good food around, cooking. That creates an environment. He talks about cutting devices off and actually eating at the table and stuff like that. Just bringing some of that back as far as a way of connecting and relating. So good food, cooking, that can help do that. Create bonds, strengthen bonds in community. Daniel says the series is really good. It really dives into the intersectionality of the culture of Black Southern cuisine and
sectionality. I'm assuming you meant sectionality because I know sometimes it'll correct. Yeah. That's what she said. Yeah, I figured that's what she meant.
I was just gonna roll with it, but like, okay, intersexuality. They starts all types of shows without me. Oh, okay, so I understand.
It's not true. I watch shows that I know she won't watch. How about that? Because she never does.
Catch me outside. How about that?
Exactly. But I've heard great reviews on High on the Hog. There was another one, Soul Food, by he came to Lexington years ago. My wife and I, we took the kids. We went to go see it, and we actually bought the DVD of it. I can't even remember the name. I think it was just called Soul Food, and it talks about the history of food in the African American culture. It doesn't go as far in depth as the show High on the Hog does, because I know that they go back into the history in terms of ancient practices and things that were brought to the Americas and all that kind of stuff. But yeah, definitely gonna check it out because I love watching food shows and where our cuisine comes from and why we eat certain things the way we do, how things became popular. So yeah. So anyway, High on the Hog on Netflix.
Cool. Well, Leif, I think we're approaching an hour. I think I'm hitting the wall.
We're getting close to it. Yeah. Another thing I was going to say in terms of coping, or not even cope. Yeah, I guess it is in the coping area, is make everything that's good for you convenient. Period. Because too often the things that are wrong for us is very convenient, and the things that are good for us, it's an obstacle to get to, right? So, which means it becomes less likely an option no matter what we do. So, set up your environment to where it becomes convenient for you to do the right things. If you want to read more, set up an environment of books. If you want to exercise more, set up an environment of exercise. If you want to eat healthier, set up an environment of good food. Yeah, I'm sorry, my wife said Soul Food
So
Junkies
Brian.
by Byron Hurt. Yeah, it was really good. And so, just those kinds of things, just make sure that you set up your environment to be conducive for the outcomes that you want. Too often, your environment can be a hindrance to you. And a lot of times, we control at least our inner environments, meaning our homes and the things that we make accessible to ourselves. I'm not talking about outside forces, I'm talking about inside forces. So, you
Yep.
want to make sure that you make those things as convenient as possible, especially if you haven't developed the habit of doing something. You have to make the convenience factor super high in order to get you over the hump of your current non doing that stuff,
Yep.
self. So make sure that you set up your environment to be very convenient for whatever it is you're trying to do.
Man, you make me think of, in time in shows times that we in times past we've talked about being intentional about the culture that you create and cultivate that's, under your immediate sphere of influence, and just talking about
Not you, Kevin. I'm sorry.
just talking about, just thinking about, we were talking about food and how I had, like you said, I had to be intentional and make it more convenient for
Yep.
me to start eating the way I needed to eat in order for me to get the health results that I was desiring. And one of the things that I did was I threw away my microwave. And
Yeah, we
at
did
the
too.
time,
Yeah,
huh?
yeah,
And at the time I
we
did it, people thought I was, some of my friends and family were like, what, why did you do that for? Why would you get rid of the microwave? But that forced me into
yep,
cooking, and that forced me
exactly.
into looking at food a different way, and it made it more convenient for me to cook than
Yep.
not to. So yeah, another
Yeah,
thing I did was I cleaned out all my cabinets and threw away all the processed, all the
plastics. Yeah.
plastics,
Yep.
all the convenience foods, and I made it more convenient for me to get the unprocessed food.
Yeah, and that's what you have to do again because you have to make it like, for example, if you lived in a tropical area, you would eat tropical foods
Yep.
because of the convenience of it. If you're walking down the road and all you got fruit trees everywhere, you're more than likely going to be a fruit eater. And so you have to do that in your own households, in your own homes. We got rid of our microwave as well, and that forced us to cook more. And actually, ironically, it makes you eat less because
Yeah.
the convenience of preparation is not always there. So, like, it, at the most, we'll eat during specified times in a sense, the 3 meals a day. And for me, it makes it convenient for me to only eat 1 or 2 meals a day because I'm not trying to eat so often to where, that's all I think about. But, it's one, and if I do snack, then I have convenient fruits and things like that I can eat to snack on. Just make sure that you leave yourself with healthy options because I do know if we have cake sitting on the counter and the fruit is in the fridge, then the cake is going to get eaten.
Cake's gone.
Yeah, exactly.
No
And so
question.
you have to set it up for for your success. That's it. It's self mentor, right? So just set up your environments for success. Yeah, I'm about to throw out my microwave after my vacation because of y'all. Hey, don't have your family hating us.
Yeah, don't blame that. Don't have Kevin coming knocking on my door.
Yeah,
I'm the
exactly.
real Kevin around here, man. Throwing away my
but
microwave. What's wrong with you?
but yeah, but seriously, because had honestly, I don't think had we gotten rid of if we hadn't got rid of the microwave, our daughter, one wouldn't be cooking. I don't think she would be cooking as much as she does because she experiments, and there's a whole lot of reasons why we have it set up for her, for our kids, period, to experiment and try new things. But again, even with that, you got to make it convenient.
Yeah.
You got to have the setup available. You got to have the goods available.
the way we store our fruit in the fridge now has saved us.
Yeah.
Yeah. And that's another thing too, talking about, just focusing on food and how when you cultivate things, it forces you down a path of learning. Like I can remember, I'm just thinking about it because I remember, Shauna talking about finding a way to make fruits and vegetables last longer and
Yep.
finding all these products and stuff. And it just forces you down this path of just learning all this whole new world. It's actually like, I didn't know this world existed,
Yeah.
until
Exactly.
this one pebble started me on this journey.
Yep. Yeah. I'll say this real quick. I always think about when we took your class years ago. Think about how long ago that was. Took it
That's a long
years ago. I was like, Kev was talking about all this healthy stuff. I was like, I trust me, I went to school for all of this. I know it, but I don't want to do it. And probably 2 or 3 weeks later, I was completely vegan.
You
So
just flip the
yeah,
switch.
because one of the things that Kevin did say that actually changed, that helped me change, was specifically replacing the drinks with water. I replaced all of my drinks with water. And again, because once you start going down a path, it's like, okay, what else can I do? Right? Because this is literally how I started. I was like,
Yep.
okay, I didn't
Yep.
change any of my habits. The only habit I changed was instead of drinking juices or soda, I drank nothing but water. And eventually my diet just started falling in line. Even now, my whole family, we have juice in the fridge, but we 90% of what we drink is water. Yeah. And so just those little changes can definitely lead you down the path. What do we call them? Habits. It's
Yeah. They talked about stepping
yeah,
stone.
yeah, something like that. I can't remember. It's getting late. We're both about to hit our word wall. It's like a builder habit. I can't think of what it's called. But anyway, just that kind of stuff.
It was the best class. J. Kev Johnson could get paid for doing that class.
Yeah. And not
Yeah.
today. He contributed. I ain't giving him no money today.
It's too late. We done got ours in.
Exactly. Nah, but seriously, it was a real good class. It was informative, and again, keystone habits. That's what it is. It was a keystone habit, and developing keystone habits. Again, the environment can be a keystone habit for you. The way you set up, your daily activities can be a keystone habit that'll lead you to better habits. Right. Just those things that'll lead you to do better. And again, just get started. Yeah, not today. But anyway, that's it. I digress. Kevin.
So two shot guys on the mic, J. Kev, Leif Taylor. We just came on today, have our conversation with our tribe, with our community about all things health, wealth, relationships, and happiness, talking about the 4 C's: connecting, contributing, coping, and cooking, and how just focusing on those 4 things can help you cultivate and create sustainable happiness in your life and help you be more resilient when you do encounter those hurdles, when you do encounter those tough times. Peace, Daniel. We definitely appreciate
Enjoy
you.
your vacation.
Vacation. We definitely don't take your attention and your time for granted. We definitely appreciate it. Hopefully, the return is more than what you put in. So, with that, that's all we got for today.
Peace, everybody.
Peace.
Definitely appreciate you.
Yep.
Later.